all of these safeguards, and somehow be able to do this is astounding to me. It simply couldn't happen. And the proposition that that is going on, that it might occur anywhere in the FBI, deeply corrodes what the FBI is in American society, the effectiveness of their mission, and it is deeply destructive.
Peter Strzok on yesterday speaking before the joint committees. 866-99-SIRIUS. We also heard Bonnie Watson-Coleman a bit earlier. Big day on the Hill on yesterday. It is Friday, and on Friday we focus on the black press, the NNPA. Joining us now, the president of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, the Reverend Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis, Jr. Ben, how are you, man?
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Just fine, my brother. Always good to have you on the show. And you've got somebody, another publisher with you. Please introduce her.
Yes, I'm pleased to present and introduce the distinguished publisher of the Atlanta Voice, Janis Ware. Comes from a family that has been publishing in Atlanta for a number of years, and she's also our national treasurer of the NNPA, the National Newspaper Publishers Association. Janis.
Sister Janis, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Tell us a little bit about the Atlanta Voice.
So the Atlanta Voice has been serving the community since 1966. The paper started by my late father, J. Lowell Ware, and a mission to actually cover the people who don't have a voice. So our motto is, "A people without a voice cannot be heard."
And
now he started. He had seven. Let me just tell you, he had 7 other newspapers that he did start in the Georgia area, and at this point we only have the one.
Yeah. Wow. It's still going strong.
Still going strong.
You know, I'm looking at one of the headlines. This I'm just nosing, catching my eye. Been something you wrote that the Atlanta Voice published about the Trump's tariffs on Canadian newsprint. That affects the black press.
It absolutely, it is absolutely going to affect the black press.
Tell us how, Janis.
So I just received a letter from the printer that publishes our newspaper, and this is the second one that we've received this year to talk about the increases. And this next increase is going to be higher than the last one. So with the cost of newsprint going up means the production of our newspapers, the printing cost of the production of our newspapers is going to go up as well, at a time when advertising is not raising or increasing at the same rate. So it jeopardizes our ability to continue publishing if we're not kept broke. So we're going to have to make strategic changes. So either cutting down the number of pages that we have, deciding that we're going to print on a lighter weight of paper, or reducing the size of the publications that we've been printing in the height and the depth of it, just to be able to stay within a price point that is going to be comfortable for a lot of publishers.
Wow. Ben, you want to comment on this as well?
And for many newspapers, this may put them out of business. If you increase the cost of newsprint over 30%, and in some cases it may go up 50%, the margins are very thin, Mark. And so that's why we wrote the call to action to let people know that there are bills in Congress right now to stop the tariffs, particularly on newsprint. We need all of the listeners throughout the country who are listening this morning to be aware of the negative impact of President Trump's tariffs on Canada, and in this case, particularly on Canadian newsprint.
And it's important to note as you write in your piece, that there's still a number of people who are less likely to be able to afford or take full advantage of internet access. Everybody doesn't have access to the internet. We take that for granted, don't we?
That's right, particularly in the black community. While everybody assumes that everybody gets their news on a device, that's not true in Black America. And a lot of part of persons of color still need to get that newspaper, still need to get that print copy so they can find out what's being on. And then, of course, Mark, in the age of fake news, you got to be careful what you adhere to, right, and what you digest. And so we are very proud that the Atlanta Voice and 215 other African-American-owned newspapers in America, we are the trusted voice of Black America.
Yeah. But, you know, I want to be clear, very clear and practical about this, too. Janis Ware, Ben Chavis on with us, folks. For those of our listeners who are not in Atlanta, and so they don't get the print edition of the Atlanta Voice, they still, Janis, can't they support the Atlanta Voice by going on the website, correct?
They can absolutely go to the website and they can sign up for an electronic edition on the website as well, which will give them the complete story and sometimes additional information that we don't have enough room to put in the printed publication. So, yes, if they will go to www.theatlantavoice.com, that would be helpful, and sign up for that electronic edition.
And so by doing that, whether they sign on to the electronic edition or not, when one goes to a website for the Black Press to look at a Black Press website, is that still, because you have advertisers there and whatnot, is that still monetized in some way for you? Does that still help you?
It is not monetized. That's one of the things that the newspaper industry as a whole had to suffer and had to struggle through. Should we charge people to come to the website to get the information? Then you're going to disenfranchise a large population as well to decide, I don't have the money to do that. It is important for us to make certain that people are able to read the information that's included in our on our website and in our newspapers. So rather than doing that, we just did not put a blockage to say you can read the front story, but then you can't read any other information that's included there.
Yeah. No, I got you.
And I think if we get the numbers up across the country, that's why we want to encourage, Janis Mark's program reach millions of people a day. And so what we want to do is encourage people to subscribe, get the print copy, but also go online and sign up. Because if we have millions of people signing up online, then the fact that her website will get millions of hits, then advertisers will monetize to put a banner on her website. So, exactly. I think it reinforces the value and the substantive power of the Black Press, to the extent to which we can get people to do not either or, but both and.
Get
the print as well as go to the website.
Well, let me just say this, folks. Go to theatlantavoice.com. There's also Black Press USA, of course. That's always there. But today we're highlighting theatlantavoice.com. And quite frankly, Janis, this is a good time to have a newspaper covering Atlanta and to have the Atlanta Voice, because I'm just looking at the website. The website looks great, by the way. You all got a lot of it's not an article on here I don't want to read because I don't live in Atlanta, but there's a lot of exciting stuff going on in Atlanta these days, isn't it?
There is. We have Stacey Abrams that's running for governor of the state, and which is really a powerful position for her to run for, and to be the first African American in the state of Georgia, because I was corrected about that, to run for a position of that power. It would be wonderful. So there are some challenges.
Well, I noticed right on the front page, there was a sit down between Stacey Abrams and T.I.?
And T.I., right.
Now,
exactly.
See, Ben, this is the value of the Black Press.
Story.
Say it again?
That's a national story. It's not only an Atlanta story. That's a national story.
But what I'm saying is to have the Atlanta Voice, take the lead on that story.
Exactly.
That's the power and the importance of the Black Press, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And then, of course, we take what the Atlanta Voice does and also put it on blackpressusa.com. We aggregate the content from all of our publishers across the country, and I'm so pleased that what Janis is doing with the Atlanta Voice. I mean, it's like you said, Mark. I mean, once you go to the website, you don't want to leave it. There's so much on it.
Yeah, it's a lot on there. I'm looking at this article right now. You folks, you ought to check out this article, Stacey Abrams and T.I. Then there's several headlines about your new mayor.
Yes. She's doing a great job. She's doing a phenomenal job. She's being attacked from different angles about different things. But the fact is, I think she's going to make a significant impact in the city of Atlanta, and we're extremely proud of her.
Keisha Lance Bottoms announces, one of the headlines of the Atlanta Voice is that she announces the opening of One Atlanta, the city's first office of equity, diversity, and inclusion. That's on the website. She's named the chief education officer. So it's a lot of positive things going on, and a lot of things that the AtlantaVoice.com is covering, folks. We invite you to go to the AtlantaVoice.com. Ben, what other big stories are trending as you say you aggregate them, what other big stories are trending in the black press this week?
Well, one just came in the last few hours. Lilly, the big pharmaceutical company, has announced that there's some breakthrough about diabetes as it affects Black Americans. You know, we're disproportionately hit with so much in terms of health care. Sickle cell, we're working with Pfizer on sickle cell. But Lilly announced yesterday that they're setting up a particular hotline on August 1st where people can call in and get a reduction for the insulin. That's another thing, Mark, with the Trump administration, the cost of health care has gone up, particularly in the African American community. And so people who have diabetes who have to use insulin daily can't afford to get their insulin. And so that means some people are going to die because they can't get insulin. And I'm so thankful that Lilly announced, working with the BlackPressUSA.com yesterday, that they're setting up a hotline where people can call in and not only get a reduced price, but get your insulin free.
Yeah, no, that is great news. I'm looking at that, folks. If you're watching on our stream, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, make it plain. You can see the story right there on your screen. New Lilly Diabetes Helpline to assist people seeking solutions to insulin affordability. You all can see that right there for yourselves. I also noticed that, and again, I regret I wasn't at the annual conference, but you all actually took on this issue of fake news at the conference, didn't you, Ben?
That's correct. We had a great panel led by Chairman Dorothy Lavelle, who's the publisher of the Chicago Crusader, and we had a number of people on the panel that addressed the whole question of fake news, including Sarah Glover, who's the president of the National Association of Black Journalists. And Mark, I'm going to say, you know, years ago there was some division between the journalists and the publishers, but I'm pleased to announce that the NNPA and the NABJ, we're working together. We're even discussing joint membership. So we're going to be at that national convention in Detroit in a few weeks.
That would be
they
powerful.
attended our convention in Norfolk. We're pulling together. We need more unity in the black community,
of course,
particularly in the media world.
Of course, no, that would be very, very powerful, and I hope that can happen. There's no reason for that division, and everyone needs to come together. How else, Ben, can the black press help to inform the public and combat fake news?
Well, I think that I'm going to give a shout out particularly to our millennials. And again, the Atlanta Voice is also involved with a special project that we're doing with General Motors and Chevrolet called Discover the Unexpected. Mark, we went to all HBCUs in the country, and we chose the 6 brightest, most talented, gifted young journalists. So I wanted to ask you a question, Mark. We got to raise up a new generation of freedom-fighting journalists, conscious journalists. And so with the help of Chevrolet General Motors, we're giving each of these students a $10,000 scholarship this summer, plus a $5,000 stipend, plus the use of a 2018 Equinox vehicle. That's going on right now. And these journalists started in Atlanta, they drove to Norfolk, now they're on their way to Michigan. Another group started in New York, went to Washington, D.C., and now they're on their way to Michigan. So I'm so thankful that of the 23,000 people that applied and hit the website to get the scholarships, we got the 6 best. And what that tells me that there's a hunger and thirst among young African Americans that want to counter the fake news. They want to pick up their pens and write for freedom, justice, and equality.
Yeah. Dr. Benjamin Chavis, Jr., BlackPressUSA.com. Also, Janis Ware of the AtlantaVoice.com. What's big going on in Atlanta today? What's the big headline in the city today, just for this Friday, if you would, Janis?
So now you're catching me off guard. I don't know anything that's going to be big because it's just not in the African American community right now. But That I just don't know. Everything is
Well,
big.
one thing is that mayor's race. I mean, see, Janis has been a little modest. This is the year of black women.
Yeah, that's right.
Black women and I'm so pleased that the National Newspaper Publishers Association, all of our board officials are women.
That's
Our
right.
chairman is a woman. Our first vice chair is a woman. Karen Carter Richards from the Houston Forward Times. Our second vice chair is Kerry Watkins from the New York Daily Challenge. And, of course, Janis Ware is our treasurer from the Atlanta Voice. And our secretary is from the Mississippi Link, Jackie Hampton. So, women are on the roll. And one thing that's trending today, I just went on your site, Janis, is that article about the governor. Everybody thinks that this is the first time that Georgia, where Atlanta is the heartbeat of, has the opportunity to get a black woman as the first governor of Georgia.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And hopefully that would happen. We've talked with Stacey, and we've had her on the show.
Right. And people are contributing across the country
to
her campaign. The Georgia governor's campaign has become a national campaign.
It has. And she has a chance to win, doesn't she, Janis? Is there a lot of enthusiasm within the city as you move around?
There's a lot of enthusiasm in the state about Stacey running for governor. I think she has a great opportunity to cross over, but you do recognize that, we are a Republican state here in Georgia, and it's still the South, so I can say it diplomatically that way, and you do have some behaviors that are just not acceptable, and she will have to overcome that, but I think people are recognizing that we do need a change, so she really does have a great opportunity.
Outstanding.
But I did see a story yesterday about Camille, Georgia, which I think you guys both should go in and investigate. Has an African American mayor, and he has not even been issued the keys to City Hall.
Really?
And CBS Channel 46 did the story last night, and I have not had an opportunity to go in and really do some more investigating on it. But the fact is, he's the first African American mayor, and basically,
So he was.
I said Camilla, Georgia. Camilla, Georgia. Yeah.
Camilla, Georgia. Okay, he's been elected, and they won't let him let him in his office.
Basically.
Wow.
So, and I think he's been in office for maybe 6 months now. So that's the fact. I just can't. But he just got his first paycheck a couple of weeks ago, and I think all of that is very interesting. So I think that's a story that we should really investigate, which is what I was going to have a meeting with my people today, so we can find out how we can actually extend that coverage. Yeah. But from a national standpoint, it's very interesting that we still are not actually able to lead like we can and should.
Yeah, no, you're right.
White supremacy is raising its head politically, economically, across America, and unfortunately, people in the highest political powers. Before we came on, Janis, Mark was playing excerpts from the House hearing yesterday with the FBI agent that made the tweet about President Trump, and it was ridiculous. It was really a sad commentary on where our country is heading politically. Not only in Camilla, Georgia, but in Washington D.C., which is supposed to be the citadel of of jurisprudence, of the rule of law, and of democracy. But anything but that was exhibited yesterday in the Congress of the United States.
You're absolutely right, and many of the Black Caucus members were the ones that were most outspoken and standing up too. So that's. Pardon me, that's important to know. Camilla, Georgia, what is Camilla, how far is Camilla in relationship to Atlanta?
And unfortunately, I don't know. I just saw that at 9 o'clock and I went to bed, and that was going to be my investigation this morning. Yeah. But I think if we put it on the minds of people, they can really go out and try to find as much information about it as possible. But I'm certain that we will have a story in the paper next week.
We look forward to that, and keep us apprised of that developing story. Very, very interesting. We all would want to know and assist. Folks, we invite you to go to blackpressusa.com. We invite you to go to the atlantavoice.com. Support the Black Press. Support the National Newspaper Publishers Association, the NNPA. Our guests have been the publisher of the Atlanta Voice, Janis. We're such a pleasure to meet you, Janis. Keep up the great work, okay?
Thank you.
And we'll talk again. And also my dear friend, comrade, and brother, Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis, Jr., the president of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, the Black Press. Ben, as always, man, appreciate and love you, brother.
Thank you, man, and we appreciate you doing this every 2 weeks for us, and we'll be on in 2 weeks for another one of our distinguished publishers. God bless, and thank you for making it plain every morning.
Thank you, Ben. Talk to you soon, brother. Thank you both. All right, take care now.
Have a great day.
You do the same. 866-99-SIRIUS, 866-997-4748 is the number to call. When you live in the country in a small town, you know a few things that city types don't. Things like which back roads flood, the best fishing spots, the owner of the hardware store, and the county's best AAA quarterback. You also know the way things ought to be done. Dish was built to serve small town America, and because of that, they share your small town approach. Talk straight, deal fair, and most of all, listen. Dish knows that when you're out past the last cable line, you make even stronger connections, and so they strive to present real choices and provide real service, the kind you don't just expect but deserve in small towns. You take care of each other. So let Dish take care of you with the latest technology, professional installation, better programming, and first-rate service from the retailer that lives in and supports your community. Dish listens. That's how they stay tuned in to you. Sirius XM Progress 127 Resistance Radio. Get woke, get ready for impeachment. We'll be right back. We're going to stop streaming this stream. We're going to start a new one, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Stay tuned. Our very next guest will talk about Russia. This is MIP.
I'm woke. 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 I'm woke. 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 Woke.
Get woke.
We're woke. Woke.
Levi Wokes. Available exclusively at Ross.